Welcome to Overtime with Jared P. and Johnny O. It's episode technically 24 because
Oh,
Johnny did it. No, well, I mean, are we counting your mini episode? You did a
oh,
mini
that's
episode
right.
by
Okay,
yourself.
okay. No, that's all
I
right.
counted it. Maybe episode 23 and a half. I'm not sure.
It was one hell of an episode, I'll tell you that.
I liked it. Yeah, it's on all the streaming platforms. It's on our social media. He's told a lot of stuff. He's an Eagles fan about Jalen Hurts and different things. But so I'm glad he did it by himself because I had no interest in talking about that. But no. So we're going to talk about we're going to break down the AFC and NFC championship games. We're not going to do a preview of the Super Bowl. We're going to wait till next week to have a full. We're going to maybe try to work on a guest or two for that. Um, and then we're going to talk about a dilemma that Jason Kelsey finds himself in, and then preview the best rivalry in all of college sports, college basketball, Carolina versus Duke, that's coming up this Saturday. But we have a great title sponsor.
All right, let me mention the title sponsor is Estate Jewelry and Loan. Brian Demore's the owner. People are talking about gold because it is at an all-time high. If you need to sell jewelry, diamonds, watches, or coins, my good friend Brian will give you trusted advice and personalized service, helping you to maximize your payout on any type of estate sales or anything like that. But he's located over at 2511 Battleground Ave, Greensboro, and you can find him on estatejewelryloan.com. And he also owns Salsaritas, which is one of our favorite restaurants. And they are located in High Point over at the Palladium. Easy to find, great food. And also in Greensboro, which I frequent, over at the Target Shopping Center. And he's got food truck, all kinds of catering type stuff. Just look him up. Give them a call for anything that you need, but stop in there for lunch or dinner. He would appreciate it.
Yeah. Family went there for years, still goes there. Eli, you can't see him. He's a big Chiefs fan on the other side of me. Every Monday we went there. I'm not sure they still do it at that location, but like kids eat free or kids eat for 99 cents. We were there every Monday when we were younger. It's awesome. But anyway, all right. So Johnny's very excited because his Eagles have advanced to the Super Bowl for the second time in 3 years. Great franchise, great front office. Not sure about the coach. We'll get into that. Not sure about the quarterback. We'll get into that. Those are their two weaknesses, in my opinion. Um, with a commanding win over the Commanders, no pun intended, and then your Buffalo Bills that I think the whole country was rooting for, except for me, was able to blow it again against the Chiefs. All right, I want to go. Can I go first about the Commanders and Eagles because I know you have a lot to say.
Please do.
I'll keep it brief and short.
No, I don't have a lot to say. There's only one thing to happen. We won. We're going to the Super Bowl. So go ahead and let's talk about your Commanders.
We have 3 titles. You have what? 1? That's fine. We don't need to get into that right now. Did A.J. Brown play in the game? I've been saying that for 20 weeks now. Have I not? When you guys lost 2 in a row and everyone's like, fire Nick Sirianni. The Eagles are terrible. This is going to be a bad season. We're not going to make the playoffs. Is Jalen Hurts washed? Is he injured? What's wrong with him? Did A.J. Brown play in the game? Yes.
Yes, he did. And he also played last week and dropped 2 passes, but he had one hell of a game this game. But they still won.
It doesn't matter. For whatever reason, if he's in the game and with Jalen Hurts as the starter, they are undefeated on the season. During the season and the postseason. I don't know what it is about that. There's a lot of different. Okay. Did the Eagles turn the ball over? No. Did Washington turn the ball over? Yes. If you count turnover on downs, they turned the ball over 5 times. 4 turnovers. None by the rookie, by the way. Well, until the fourth quarter.
1 interception that you shouldn't even count.
Yeah, because he was doing things he wouldn't normally do. But the first 3 that put him in a hole led to 21 points. You maximized your drives, you maximized turnovers. That's the name of the game. I think if the roles are reversed and Eagles turn the ball over 4 times and the Commanders don't, it's a different outcome. It's like football is very complicated with the scheming and the defenses, the offenses, and just all the different things that we don't even think about. Like on every play, every player has to do something right and also react on the fly to what they're seeing and things that don't go their way, a blitz that might be coming. So it is complicated, but it's also simple. You have to have great quarterback play, and you can't turn the ball over. We have great quarterback play with Jaden Daniels. Wasn't worried about him. every time we started to drive, we gave up we fumbled and you guys went up 20-12. Okay. We get the kickoff back, fumble again. We fumble on the kickoff, give you a short field. We fumble at the 50-yard line. You go down and score. When it's 34-23, we're driving to possibly go 34-30. The game's different. Then you're down by 21, and it's a disaster. And you have Saquon Barkley. So it's a little bit of a preview for me, kind of for the Super Bowl. But the Eagles have arguably the best offensive line in football. They have the best defense statistically in football. They have the best running back in football. They have probably the best one or two receiver combo in football, and they have one of the best scrambling quarterbacks in football. This is a well-constructed roster that can possibly overcome a deficient coach. I don't know if he seems good. He's young. He's been Super Bowl 3 times. I mean, 2 times in 3 years. But that roster is what the Eagles, as constructed at almost every level other than quarterback, and maybe Terry McLaurin might have been the best receiver on the field, talent-wise, total talent. Although A.J. Brown maybe.
A.J. Brown's the best receiver on the field.
So we have one player, if you go down the roster, one player that's better out of the 22 starters. You had 21 starters better than our starters. We had one starter better than yours. And we turned the ball over 4 times. You're not going to win.
Nope.
But hats off. You do have a great defense. You're punching the ball out. These fumbles didn't seem like they were hard hits, but they're doing what they're trying to do. The Eagles didn't turn the ball over. I don't think turned the ball over the entire postseason. It's incredible.
I don't think they've had, and I'm being facetious, but I'm not far off. I don't think they've had a turnover since October. Seriously. But anyway.
Yeah. And that's good coaching. I mean, some luck. There's some luck. That's good coaching.
And I don't know what you're saying about Sirianni. I mean, I know at the beginning of the season, people were saying stuff because they were 2-2 at the time, with all that talent. And that happens. It's the damn NFL. But then you just said the magic words. He has coached this team. And I'll give credit to somebody else too. Coached this team to 2 Super Bowls in the last 3 years. He's doing something right. And last year they started off 10-1. And they flopped, okay? But, I mean, Jalen was hurt. I mean, they had injuries that some of them weren't even publicized, so that happens. So that's not a problem. Nick Sirianni obviously is doing something right, and his players respect him. The general manager has put together one hell of a football team, and that's key. And it's the front office, man. And I'll jump a little bit on the other side. How about, I don't know if you read the article on ESPN about Dan Snyder, who used to own the Washington Redskins at the time and the Commanders, but he's like upset because they're doing so well now. There's something wrong with that man, and there was something wrong with him when he owned the Redskins and / Commanders.
Yeah,
it's all about the top, right from the top to the bottom, and they do have one hell of an organization. We put up huge numbers. I almost, I don't want to get cocky here, but I almost wish we played the Detroit Lions on that game to really give us a serious football game, to be honest with you. And the Lions probably deserved to be there, but they didn't. Turnovers, all that kind of stuff, it's all part of the game, and Washington rolled over those guys. So the Eagles put up 55 points. I'll talk about your Commanders real quick. Jaden Daniels.
Can I say something about the 55 points?
Yeah.
It's to me, if you didn't watch the game, you think they're going to have 650 yards in offense. You're going to throw for 4 or 5 touchdowns. It's the most misleading score. You had 7 rushing touchdowns. The Eagles are the only team I've seen that have more explosive, big, long plays. Usually those are touchdowns. They're bombs, 60-yard bomb, 50-yard bomb. No, they're 60-yard runs by Saquon. There's 30 yards run by Jalen Hurts. But the turnovers, the short field, I mean, that really, you can run up the score pretty quick.
No, absolutely. But we did have almost 500 yards, 250 passing and about 230 rushing. I mean, and just think about that, 250 passing, 230 rushing. I mean, what a combination. I mean,
Absolutely.
you can't beat that. Nobody
A
can beat.
lot of stress on defenses.
Oh, big time. But kudos to the Commanders. They scared the hell out of me. They're going to be great for the next couple years ahead here. Jaden Daniels was just absolutely remarkable the whole season and a hard guy to dislike. I absolutely love the guy. And how about the ex-Eagle, Zach Ertz, man? He was, I mean, Jaden kind of went to him a lot, and there's nothing wrong with that. You see the tight ends get involved in playoffs a lot, and boy, was he involved. He was catching everything. I was really happy for him.
Hey, 11 catches for over 100 yards.
Yeah, yes. Your little defensive back, Marshawn Lattimore, is an idiot. He's a friggin' idiot. Okay.
I agree.
Yes.
And he's washed. He's washed.
He's washed. He still thinks he's some, all pro. He stinks, and just, it seems like he's a little loose in the head right now, man. I mean,
yeah, he's like fighting with what's his
AJ.
face? Well, I mean the week before or 2 weeks before with Tampa Bay, their best receiver. I can't. Evans.
Yeah.
They have a history when he was actually good with the Saints. It was an All-Pro. He's not anymore. But he has an All-Pro attitude. And not only did we turn the ball over, our veterans penalties and personal fouls and pass interference and ripping helmets off. We're getting, it's just like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And then the rookie just plays cool, calm, and collected. It's just like, I don't want him on the roster next year.
No, I bet you won't be either. So, but your Terry McLaurin and Jaden Daniels combination, they scare me the next few years. So good for you guys. And man,
we have lots of cap space too. Sorry, I'm interrupting. We have, I think, the second most cap space going into next year.
See, I mean, obviously that front office knows what the hell they're doing right now, man. So that's what you need. So Jalen Hurts had a tremendous game, 3 touchdowns, 246, no turnovers. AJ Brown, almost 100 yards, like you said. The 1 touchdown, which was beautiful. But our tight end Dallas Goedert again was huge. The tight ends always come into play, which I love. But the Darius Slays, the Reed Blackenships, the Cooper DeJeans, in the defensive backfield, and my man Jalen Carter, that monster that I'm sure you had nightmares about, number 98, just going up the middle every time.
Right.
Can you imagine being a quarterback, seeing that guy coming at you?
Yeah, and pushing your center back. He picked him up at one point. It's just like,
yeah, I know.
It's like, oh my gosh, this dude's a beast.
So just to recap, I mean, it couldn't have been, it couldn't have been any. I was still worried though when it was 30 to 20. I don't even know.
I think it's 30. I think 34-23, and Washington was at midfield driving, and there's plenty of time left. And then our guy catches the ball, falls down, gets back up, and they punch the ball out. I'm like, you march right down. To your credit, you took advantage of every turnover.
Right.
Even, that's not a guarantee you're going to score at the 50. I mean, short field, the kickoff return, we got the ball at the 18. You're going to get some points, but y'all scored every turnover.
Right. And they take advantage. But, So that's all. I mean, there's nothing more to say, but we'll predict some stuff next week. But I feel real good. And as long as they're healthy, and Jalen looked healthy, he took the knee brace off right before game time and did whatever he had to do. And how about this Saquon Barkley? I mean,
oh my gosh,
what did you do when he ran that first play? I mean,
we do an 18-yard or 18-play drive, take it 7.5 minutes.
Beautiful.
Then we go for it on 4th down 2 times, and then it's 4th and 3, and then we didn't go for it. I was like,
yeah.
Odd. All right, so we got 3. All right, you start off the drive with the score and take off 7.5 minutes against the best defense in the NFL. That's a good start. And then the first play from scrimmage, basically a 60-yard touchdown. It's deflating, and I think that set the tone for the rest of the game.
Yeah. As soon as he gets behind that line, as soon as he hits that second tier and he starts spinning, it just opens up. It's really wonderful to watch. But that's all I got to say. I can't wait to chat a little bit next week and get a little more excitement. But I feel good about the team, and hopefully everything goes well. They have a good, relaxing week this week, and then they're healthy. And I tell you what, you just mentioned that long drive that Washington had, and then they went for 3 points. 3 points aren't going to beat the Eagles. You got to get touchdowns, and they probably should have went for that because they were doing fine. I think it was 4th and 5 though, but
Was it?
even
Okay, 4th and 5, then
so,
maybe.
even so, I'm hoping the Eagles, which they're the same, and a lot of the teams are. You got to score touchdowns to beat Kansas City next week or 2
I
weeks.
mentioned this on the show many times. The great Steve Young said every time when he was playing, when they settle for a field goal, he said we're this much closer to losing. He said
That's
you
a
get
great
close to score,
saying.
you got to. And he said that 20 years ago, and you see it over and over and over. Now you got to do field goals every once in a while. The points are points, but man, in some, especially the high-powered offenses now,
Yeah.
or even going against stingy defenses, that 7 is just so important.
It's
All
amazing.
right,
It's real quick. It's amazing. It's 4 down territory on the whole field now.
right. And Washington converted over 22 fourth down.
Yep.
I mean, they're like the best in the NFL this year. I mean, they're yeah. All right, so I went first last time. Do you want to break down the Bills versus Chiefs? Which,
Yes.
by the way, it was you, Jeremy Phillips, former NFL player, and me on our podcast predicting the AFC championship outcomes, and I think I'm the only one that got it right. I said Eagles and Chiefs, and yeah, because I think you
Yeah.
both picked the Bills,
Yeah. Well, I picked the Bills because I just wanted the Bills. But yeah, no,
and I think he
absolutely.
picked Bills Commanders. So
Yeah, he did. He did. He was going for the underdogs. But another great game, another instant classic. I mean, the Bills played with them. I don't think the Bills pissed the game away. I mean,
no,
it
they
was
didn't.
a heck of a football game. Joshy Allen, not a bad game. 237 yards, couple touchdowns, no interceptions. That last pass, I mean, should have been caught, man, but it wasn't. So it's just part of the game. They used James Cook pretty good, but he only carried 13 times. He was all over the field every time he carried the ball. Their little running back, number 4,
Yeah,
85 yards. He should have probably had 20 or 21 carries, possibly. Maybe that would have made a little bit of a difference, but no, they played Kansas City. They know how to win. Mahomes played one of those little perfect Patrick Mahomes games. I'm not saying any of the calls went against them, but all the real close ones, and I'm not saying they were right or wrong, went Kansas City's way. They get those breaks, and that, you know what? Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good sometimes, and sometimes the breaks go their way, and it helps with championships. So I'm not blaming the refs, and there's no way the NFL is, telling the refs, okay, yeah, we're going to need Kansas City to, there's no, I don't want to believe that.
yeah. We want a small market in the middle of the country with that in TV or radio market. It's like market 60. I mean, it's not a big
Yeah.
market. It
Yeah.
might be even smaller than that. I mean, cool city, but if they want to push something, they want to push New York or they want to push something in Los Angeles, But yeah, we all do that though. It's the Yankees, the evil empire. The Patriots. Now the Patriots did cheat though, and there were scandals around them, but they did. But they obviously, to Tom Brady, they were a great team.
Right.
Same Carolina. When they blow out your team or whoever team they're playing, when they're a Final Four caliber team, it's because of the refs. Duke get all the calls. Michael
All the
Jordan gets
time.
all the calls. LeBron gets
Yep.
all the calls. I know
Yep.
that's what we do in our culture for some reason. I've been guilty of it, but
Hey, I'm going
the
to say,
Chiefs thing I've never bought. I mean, it's like,
yeah, I'm going to give you kudos, man. What you got a nice little dress shirt on? What you have, a little lunch date today or what?
oh, I wish. No, it was some weird, not weird. It was a photo shoot for some side hustle thing that I'm a part of. And they said we had to dress up a little bit. I was like, okay,
Oh, nice, very nice.
I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
you don't have enough going on. I mean,
No,
you need to get a lot of.
I know, for real.
But anyway, Kansas City looks great. But again, another 3-point victory. Geez, 2 years ago, Super Bowl, 38-35 over the Philadelphia Eagles. The Buffalo Bills know this all too well, on that 13-second power drive that Mahomes did.
Yeah.
They just know how to win. They're champions. They are champions. And Josh, at the end of the game, tried to say it. He didn't want to be up at that podium, but he
No.
finally just said, you got to beat the champ to be a champ, and we
Yeah.
haven't done that. So you know what? He'll keep trying because I believe he's a gamer. So, but kudos to Kansas City. Travis Kelce only had a couple catches, so he wasn't even a big factor in that game. Scares me a little bit in 2 weeks because
Yeah.
you know. But we'll see what happens. So, what do you got?
Well, I think everything you said was good. Josh Allen, I think, did enough to win. The defense, I mean, you give up 32 points, you're probably not going to win these games. You're not. I mean, it's rare, in the playoffs, and so you have a defensive-minded coach, and it seems like their defense is their weakness. Um, I agree with you on Cook. Cook was cooking. I mean, he was balling. I mean, he was averaging like 7.5 yards a carry. And then they stopped giving him the ball, especially towards the end of the game. And then you're just relying on your 6'6", 6'7" quarterback who does convert a lot of fourth downs with his legs. But when Jim Nance knew that they're going to run to the left with Josh Allen every time on a 4th and 1, because how he knew that, because the Kansas City Chiefs said that's what he's going to do. So it's like you can't be that predictable. You know who's not predictable in 4th and short situations? The Kansas City Chiefs.
Right.
All sorts of motion. You don't know if it's going to be a direct snap to Kelce. You don't know if it's going to be a shuttle pass from Mahomes. You don't know if it's going to be a double reverse. You just don't know. You don't know if it's just going to be an easy handoff straight up, with one of the running backs. They're the most creative in 4th and short situations historically. With Mahomes and Andy Reid. Andy Reid's the best play caller in the sport. And that play they called at the end to ice the game, because people say, oh, well, that, Dalton Kincaid should have caught that pass. He should have hit both of his hands, and it was falling slowly. It wasn't like a bullet and it deflected off somebody. It's not. It hit both his hands, and that would have probably changed the game. But
tough catch. It was still a tough catch.
The Bills needed to stop the Chiefs, and the Chiefs converted 2 first downs on that. And that last play to Perrine, right? I'm probably saying that wrong. He used to play for the Washington Commanders, so I should have known his name. Drew Brees broke that play down. He said that play, the way it's designed, it's almost impossible for a linebacker to cover that because of all the movement and action. And what it does when he said when the players go in motion, what it does is signifies to Mahomes what defense they're in. And then he sees, okay, they're in man, so we're going to sneak the running back out the back. And because of a crossing action on the left side where he's eventually going, that's coming over from left to right, there's just no way for a linebacker to be able to get out there in time. He said that's going to be a 5-yard completion every time. They turn it to a 15-yard completion at the end of the game. The Chiefs, you have the best coach in the game, and you have the best quarterback, and they have some good pieces on the offense and defense. And we're not doing a preview right now, but my concern, if I'm a Chiefs fan, is how well James Cook ran against them. And James Cook is a solid running back, a good running back.
Very good.
I think a Pro Bowler this year, but he's not Saquon Barkley, and the Buffalo Bills offensive line is not the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line. So I'm not trying to give you some extra false hope, but there might be some, so.
I mean, it's going to be a hell of a game. There's no doubt about it, man. 2 powerhouses.
We want to thank our other sponsors, Elite Performance Chiropractic, 2 locations. Former pro football player Jeremy Phillips is a chiropractor there. He's great. Winston-Salem and Greensboro. And check them out on Facebook and their website. We have links to all that on our social media, Overtime with Jared P. and Johnny O. And I know you got a bunch of awesome sponsors that you've hooked up.
We got Physical Therapy and Balance Center. It's physical therapy and wellness specializing in innovative treatments of balance and orthopedic conditions. Our friend David Grantham has personalized physical therapy, fall prevention programs, and pain management. He's offering, and if anyone out there listening, give him a call. He's offering a free 15-minute balance screening right now to anyone, and you can call him at 336-500-8503. He's located right on Battleground, and he's one of the top guys as well. We got some nice sponsors, man, with Jeremy and the whole 9 yards. We also have Shank and Torrance Insurance located in Greensboro, but they serve the entire Triad and state. Brian Torrance specializes in personal insurance, including auto, homeowners, and life insurance. Call Brian at 336-310-1320 for all your insurance needs. All my insurance is through Brian. He does a great job. And then my man Jimmy Snow, who is a Commander fan, he's been a little quiet this past week.
Yep.
Imperial Marketing Solutions, sale of equipment, sales of new reconditioned computer IT hardware. Reconditioned is equal to brand spanking new with a 3-year warranty. Out of state drop ship he has. He's got payment terms available. Anything, laptops, desktops, anything you want. Call Jimmy. Tell him we sent you at 315-345-8349.
And then Surf Hippie Fishing, all your fishing apparel, fishing equipment, fishing rod holders. They have it all, carts, they do all sorts of cool stuff. Tournaments, Surf Hippie Fishing with the PH.com. All right. You still want to do what we planned both time, or you want to?
Yeah, let's just spend a couple minutes on each.
All right. So Jason Kelsey is in a dilemma. He played, as you know, 13 years as an all-pro center, perhaps one of the greatest centers of all time. I think maybe the best center of all time, but he's definitely up there. He won a Super Bowl with the Eagles. He lost Super Bowl to the Chiefs, and now his brother, and he's retired. His brother, Travis, as you know, is in the Super Bowl again. Does he root for the Eagles that made him a multimillionaire? The city loves him. He bled the sweat, the tears, the surgeries, the dedication, the brotherhood that you do build within these organizations, especially when you just stay with one your entire career, which is rare. And I believe he lives in Philadelphia as well. Or your brother, who's been your brother your whole life and will be your brother many years after you're both retired. Who do you cheer for? Johnny, if you're in this exact same situation, what would you do? Who would you be openly rooting for, honestly rooting for?
Man, I didn't know you were going to ask me that question if I was in that situation. But, oh man, I mean, he 13 years in that Eagle family, and he was very much involved. Outside, the whole community. He's a Philadelphia guy. And his wife, Kylie, is just so involved, all the way through as well, with the Eagles and the community and all that kind of good stuff, where Kylie didn't even want to go to the Kansas, when they played each other, 2 years ago. She didn't even want to go to that game because there's no way that she could root for her brother-in-law, Travis. And, she wanted Eagle. She bleeds Eagle green as well. But your question was to me. I don't like that question, man. I gotta, I'll pick both of my brothers. They haven't given me probably $100 million over 13 years. And I would have to go with my team, but hope that my brother, or like a Travis, has one hell of a football game. And I pray that it isn't his fault that they lose the game. Now, on the other end, if we do lose, if my team loses, that I really, have been bleeding their color, I'm not going to feel that bad because my brother got the championship trophy. So that's the only way I can handle that. Yeah.
I think when you first hear it, it's like, okay, family. I think you think family right away. We did this on our morning show this morning.
Yeah.
Literally everyone on our show, except for me, and all of our callers, all of them, not one, men and women, different ages, some Eagles fans, some Chiefs fans, some not even sports fans at all said they would pick their team. They would cheer. Not one said family. I'm the only one that said family. However, this is a good argument. It was made on our show, and also I made part of the argument as well. If you do the exact same situation, they've already played head-to-head, and Travis already beat him when he was a player.
Yeah.
And so, and your brother Travis has 3 Super Bowls. It's not like, oh, this is his last season and he's never won. But in the end, family is family, and they could be retired for 40 years from now. Like, seriously, he could, and I don't even care if my brother said, look, you get how this game works. I got to publicly say I'm supporting the Eagles so they don't. Because Eagle fans, they support you, but when they don't support you, they are rough.
Eagles
He'd have to
fans,
move.
Eagle fans would not want to hear Jason Kelsey say, "I'm going for Kansas City." It's impossible for him to do.
He would have to move.
Yep.
All right. So with that being said, with all things being what they are, if I was in that situation, I have two brothers as well. I'd have to go for my brothers because it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And Jason Kelsey has Super Bowl ring. The Eagles are, but I
Yeah.
get it. It's a real tough one. I'm the only one who said family, and it's still kind of like a caveat almost.
Oh man,
Well, Jason
my
Kelsey.
brothers are going to listen to this. They're going to give me hell, man. Holy crap.
Well, you're not alone. Literally, everyone else said what you said, which it's still shocking to me. But when Jason Kelsey, they were talking about it on their podcast, and Jason Kelsey said he's cheering for the Eagles, and Travis Kelsey immediately said, "That is BS. This is
Yep.
such BS." Like he
Yep.
was mad. He's like, "Seriously, dude, are you kidding me?" So anyway, we'll see how it goes. I mean, the parents were just in it. Imagine you have two kids in the Super Bowl, and you're a parent. It doesn't matter how old your kids are. You feel
Yep.
their joys. You feel their when they have
Oh yeah.
sadness.
Yep.
One's gonna be at the top of the world, and one's gonna be devastated.
Yeah, it was hard for them when they were playing against each other, but the parents got to be with Kansas City all the way.
Oh
now.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, so UNC, Carolina, Duke. Throughout the records, typically, historically, it doesn't matter. One could be the number one team in the country. One could be unranked. Typically, historically, at least for the Coach K, Dean Smith, Roy Williams days, and for the most part, both these teams are usually a top 10 team when they're playing each other, with a few exceptions. At least a top 15 team. Sometimes both ranked in the top 5. That's not the case this year. It's at Duke. Duke is the better team. Now, Carolina, I'm a Carolina fan. I don't know what to think of Hubert Davis. Okay, he inherited a good roster. He's added now at least 3 or 4 5-stars. He added another one for next year. But Ian Jackson and Powell are 5-stars. You got R.J. Davis, ACC Player of the Year preseason, All-American, and Player of the Year preseason.
In his 12th year at
In his
Carolina.
12th year, you had Baycott for 12 years. I mean, it's not like their front court is terrible, but it's not like it's empty. And he's basically outside of that one magical run when they were having a horrible season, in 2022, I believe. They lost to Kansas in the national championship by 3, and that team was up by 16. It's the biggest blown lead in championship history in NCAA basketball. And since then, the team is just so inconsistent. Can they play with anybody? Can they beat Duke? Yeah, they can beat Duke. Duke didn't look good against NC State last night. Duke didn't look good against Wake. But guess what? Carolina don't look good against anybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
We lost. I was at the Wake game. You were there.
Yeah.
There's I don't know what it is about Carolina. I'm not breaking down Carolina specifically, but trying to handicap this game, I think Carolina will be up for it because the year that Duke won 12 games and Coach K faked a back injury and sat out. Or he had a back injury the whole time. He's like, this team sucks. I'm going to go and have the surgery this year. And Carolina was Final Four team with Stackhouse and Jerry Stackhouse and Rasheed Wallace. It still went to double or triple overtime. So
anything can happen, man.
Duke's a better team, though. Duke is a better team. And I think, unfortunately, I hate saying this, Duke is a better coach team. I did not think Shire was going to be a better coach than Davis, but so far he is.
Yeah.
He gets more out of his players, and he recruits better.
Well, I'm not a fan of either team, but I very much dislike Duke. I don't know why. They just bother me. I don't even like watching them play, but I do have a little soft spot for Carolina. Kim's family is Carolina fans, and Kim likes them a little bit. I harass her a little bit about that, but this year, it doesn't look like it's even going to be close. The ACC is so weak this year; it's almost ridiculous. Yeah. Almost hard to watch, man. And to be honest with you, I really haven't watched that much, except for when I went to the Wake Forest game, which Wake Forest isn't bad. They might be a somewhat of a contender in the ACC.
Well, and
But
Wake Forest, not to interrupt you, but Wake Forest, to me, they're well coached. They just
yep,
don't have the 5 stars.
yeah,
I think you take their coach, and I forget his name. I always do. He has the
Forbes,
biggest, huh?
Forbes,
Forbes, yeah. He
yep.
he he has the strongest, biggest, almost soprano. What's that guy on Sopranos with the? He almost has like a prosthetic looking gut. It's like the
Tony
weird.
Tony Soprano.
He has a huge, but not Tony Soprano. It's the other dude. He has like a huge gut. Anyway, he doesn't look fat, but he turns aside like, dang, his gut is huge. Anyway, beside the point. I think if he coached Duke and or Carolina's roster, he'd get more out of them than what at least
Yeah,
Hubert Davis is getting for sure.
well, you
He
might be
does
right.
better. He does more with less, I think.
Well, Duke, I think, obviously Duke's going to be favored. They're playing at Duke. This Cooper flag is something special. I think he's very special, but I'm not seeing incredible greatness yet. But I got a feeling it's starting to come because he's had a couple of big games the last couple games. And your Tar Heels, it's the front court, man. They're just not. Duke's gonna eat them alive under the boards, man. Your Carolina, the top 4 scorers, they're all in double figures. Okay, they're all guards, every
Yeah.
one of them. That is interesting. They're going to have to play somehow small ball or something, and maybe your boy Hubert Davis will come through with some sort of strategy to kind of harass Duke, but. I don't know, but I'm hoping I will be watching, and I'm hoping it's just one, because of the rivalry, it comes out to be one of those crazy games that I would love to see Carolina go into Duke again and beat them. So especially this year, that would blow their minds.
Oh, absolutely. Now I do think Cadeau, he can't shoot, but Cadeau's going to be a tough guard. He can get to the basket anytime he wants. RJ Davis is their best shooter. He's had a down season. I just
He
think
has,
there's no front court, so I think there's the guys they can just stay at home on him, and he's
yep,
not an elite athlete. Like that's why he won't be in the NBA. I love RJ Davis. I think he's been so loyal to Carolina. He's done very well. He's got some good NIL money too, so he's made some money. So I'm happy about that. But he's not the same player. He does the lack of front court, the lack of a center or forward presence, just really just allows people to stay at home on him. They don't have to help out. But I do think Ian Jackson could be a key. That
he's a
kid is
star.
he's
He's a
very
player.
hard to guard, and he's not scared. He
Yep.
does. There's not a shot he don't like. Um,
Trimble looks good.
Tremble. I think the key actually with Carolina looked pretty good. We're having these games with Kansas and Auburn, and we're looking strong. And a lot of the games, even if we lost, it's still like 2 or 3 point games for the most part. Playing a very tough schedule, had some big wins. Then Trimble got hurt for 3 games, and since he's come back, he was averaging like 18 points a game. He's like averaging like 7. I mean, he's way down in
Yeah,
productivity. He's a good defender. I think they're going to put him on Flag, even though Flag's a lot much taller because no
really.
one else is gonna be able to have the foot speed to keep up with Flag. It's
Yep.
almost like let Flag get his and stay at home with everyone else. But
Carolina's missing a Baycott in the middle. If
yeah,
if they had a player like Baycott with this, with these 4 guards and whatever, they would be fine. But they just don't have it,
they
man.
don't. And they
Yep.
had 6 years to find a replacement. I mean, come on. It's like seriously. Well, what I was going to say is Carolina is ranked 255th in the country in 3-point shooting percentage. They can't
Wow.
shoot. And under Roy Williams and Dean Smith, especially Roy Williams, and they from basket to basket, they're running fast. This team kind of is more they have all these guards, but they don't push the ball like they did with Roy. And they have the guards that can do it. I think that's a mistake. And then number 2, they don't Roy Williams teams always were first or second in the country in offensive rebounds. We get
Yeah.
out rebounded every game, lack of front court. And then Duke can rebound. The only reason they beat State is because they had like 15 to 20 more rebounds than State. Because State gave them a good game, but they couldn't get a freaking rebound. And
Yeah.
so, if I had to pick it, Duke's going to win it. But I have to pick. Duke's going to win it. But
Yeah.
would I be surprised if Carolina pulls one out? No.
It can happen. It can happen. Well, good stuff, man. Another good show.
Yeah, man. I'm excited about the Super Bowl. My son's a Chiefs fan.
Yeah.
I know you're an Eagles fan. And the last one, if it's half as good as the last one, we're in for a treat. And I look forward to our predictions going into next week. We'll do that.
Sounds good, buddy.
All right,
We're up.
Johnny. Now you're in control today. You got to hit stop. Otherwise, we'll be sitting here like for the last like,
Where is it? End?
end. And then I think you have to do it again. All right, man. Till next time.
Wait a minute. Let's see.
You got it?
End recording.